Hi, my name is John Ulip, and today we will be taking a look at the NetSuite account reconciliation solution. We already did intros in our previous call, so we'll start this meeting with a quick overview of the NetSuite account reconciliation solution. We'll then proceed with a live demo of the software application, after which we will recap our discussion. There are two main components that make up the solution. 100% of your required period and balance sheet reconciliations are tracked in reconciliation compliance. It can automate your reconciliation process. For example, zero balance or low balance accounts that fall within defined dollar or percentage thresholds can be auto submitted and auto approved. This saves you precious time on zero to low risk accounts and allows you to focus on accounts that are higher value and higher risk. It can set up automated alerts for any variances or adjustments. Dashboards and reports are available to monitor compliance and performance. Transaction matching complements reconciliation compliance by providing automation for higher volume and or more complex reconciliations. It can reconcile transactions across multiple data sources with customizable attributes. While it can certainly be used for balance sheet reconciliations, it can also be used for non-balance sheet reconciliations or operational reconciliations, such as system-to-system recons, expense reimbursements, payroll, etc. Let's dive a little bit deeper into each of these areas. Reconciliation compliance offers the flexibility to choose between three different reconciliation methods. Account analysis, which is used to justify balances for accounts such as prepaids, accruals, or reserves. Balance comparison, to compare your NetSuite GL balances to another source, such as a subledger, bank statement, or any other external system. And variance slash flux analysis to provide commentary on the balance sheet and key P&L accounts. You can set thresholds or rules that if the balance changes within a certain percentage or dollar amount, that an explanation is required. You are not limited in the number of reconciliation methods you can use for each GL account. If there is a GL account for which you want to perform both a balance comparison and a variance flux analysis, for example, you can do so. Transaction matching allows you to apply the concept of continuous accounting. Your company has a lot of data points coming in from various systems. Maybe you have a 3PL, a point of sale system, your bank, your NetSuite ERP. We'll help automate that matching process, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. As the data flows through the rules-based engine, the system will auto-suggest matches. So instead of spending your precious time combing through hundreds or even thousands of transactions, transaction matching helps you identify and focus only on the exceptions. Ultimately, it gives you the results of a continuous close. Continuous accounting is what separates us from our competitors. If you're closing the prior month, the current month business isn't stopping. If it takes you a week or two to close, once you've closed the prior period, you are already behind in the current period with the transaction matching process. The system can work in both periods concurrently, so when you start a new period, you're not 2 weeks behind. That's enough with the slides, so let's get into the software application. Here we are on the application landing page, and you can see we are logged in as Vince Ford. Just like NetSuite ERP, NetSuite Account Reconciliation allows you to set roles and permissions for each user. In Vince's case, he has the role of a preparer and has been assigned the responsibility of preparing reconciliations for selected GL accounts. Imagine it is month-end close, yet again, and it's time for us to reconcile our GL accounts so we can close the books. The first thing you do upon logging into the system is navigate to the work list. You love the work list because it helps you prioritize the tasks that you need to perform. You see that there are a few alerts, as indicated by a red bell, that indicates one of your colleagues has a question or comment that is addressed specifically to you. Instead of having to communicate with your coworkers via email or messenger or phone or face-to-face, You can manage and capture all of your reconciliation-related communications within the application. You can also see reassignment requests, which allows you to easily shift reconciliation responsibilities from one person to another, helping you avoid delays and keep the close process progressing. Finally, at the bottom, you can see all of the account reconciliations that your manager has assigned to you. You can also see those on the reconciliations card. There were a couple of alerts from the work list that were related to account 2-1110, trade receivables. So you open it to see if you can address those and clear those out and complete the reconciliation. In the reconciliation, you see that this account utilizes the balance comparison reconciliation compliance method, and we are comparing the ending balance on our NetSuite GL against our NetSuite accounts receivable module subledger. One of the key benefits of the NetSuite account reconciliation solution is that it comes with a pre-built sync that ports your data from your NetSuite ERP to the account reconciliation application. With other solutions, you would have to either bear the burden of managing that integration or have to manually key in the amounts, which leaves you open to manual error. You can drill back to the NetSuite ERP and see the source of the amount. After clicking on the GL amount, you can review the month-by-month changes to your GL balance. Meanwhile, clicking on the AR module amount, you're able to see the customer balances per month. With the data automatically synced from your NetSuite ERP to the NetSuite account reconciliation solution, you quickly see that there's a difference of $40,000 that needs to be explained. In the comments section, you note that upon further review, there was a deposit that was not assigned to a customer or project and thus needs correction. You attach a spreadsheet as documentation for your auditors and for your managers to view. Going back to the other comments, your manager, Carol Morgan, asks you to review the AR aging report and attaches a link back to NetSuite for your convenience. Now that we have identified the reason for the $40,000 difference, we can notate it by adding it as an adjustment in the system. The system gives you the ability to enter adjustments to either side of the equation, whether it's on the general ledger side or on the AR subledger side. Since our GL balance is correctly stated and the error was made on the AR subledger, you enter it in as an adjustment to the accounts receivable module. This leaves us with no unexplained differences. So we are able to click on submit to send to the reviewer for approval. Every reconciliation has these buttons on the right side of the screen. These are drawers, and in each drawer you can input information including instructions on how to complete the reconciliation, alerts to assign specific tasks, which we previously saw on our work list, workflow, which shows which users are assigned to prepare and review the reconciliation, links to our prior reconciliations for quick reference, and the history of all the activity that has occurred with this particular reconciliation. You have a full audit trail encapsulated in the same system. No more toggling back and forth between multiple software solutions to understand and complete your reconciliations. Now that we have looked at an example of a balance comparison, let's take a quick look at the other reconciliation compliance methods at your disposal. Your company has decided to set up the prepaid insurance reconciliation using the account analysis method. Instead of comparing multiple balances against each other, account analysis asks the reconciler to justify the ending balance by adding balanced explanations. In this case, the justification comes in the form of a prepaid amortization schedule prepared in the NetSuite ERP. You can easily see that each month's expense has been properly posted to the correct periods, and the remaining deferred balance, it ties to your GL ending balance. You can add explanations or adjustments until you end up with no unexplained differences. Our final reconciliation compliance method is the flux variance analysis. It is similar to the account analysis method in that you input explanations, except that you are explaining the difference between the current period that you're reconciling versus a prior period. In the case of retained earnings, we are able to easily identify the difference as our net income, which is correct. As much fun as this has been preparing reconciliations, I'm sure there are other things in your life that you would rather do. NetSuite account reconciliation provides automation where the system will auto close or auto approve a reconciliation if certain parameters are met. For example, if a GL account has a zero or low balance, or if a GL account has a variance amount that is less than the specified dollar or percentage threshold, the system can automatically complete those reconciliations so you can spend your valuable time on things like watching your favorite Harry Potter movie or eating out at the Cheesecake Factory. You can also reduce the total number of reconciliations you have to complete by using group accounts. In this example, our GL breaks out our different fixed asset types into 5 separate GL accounts. Instead of reconciling each of those GL accounts individually, you can create a group account that consolidates those separate accounts into a single account reconciliation. Everything that we have looked at up to this point of the demo is functionality included in the reconciliation compliance area of the solution. Let's shift gears and look at the automation that transaction matching provides. Right next to our reconciliations tile, we have our tile for transaction matching. We're going to take a look at an example of a bank reconciliation. You can see that from our bank statement, we have 53 total transactions, while on our GL that has been synced from our NetSuite ERP, we have 52 transaction lines. All of these transactions are currently unmatched. As we run an auto match, the system will look at all of your transaction detail that it has at its disposal, including amounts, dates, transaction numbers, customer or vendor names, and it will run different combinations of those transaction details using a set of matching rules that we have previously defined. Within minutes and oftentimes within seconds, the auto match process will be completed. As we click back into our bank account, we can immediately see that the total transactions waiting to be matched has decreased significantly, and we are left with only 2 unmatched transactions and 5 suggested matches. So instead of wasting your time having to sift through rows upon rows, columns upon columns of transaction details, transaction matching takes care of the bulk of that work and allows you to focus on just a few exceptions. To complete the transaction matching process, you work your way from top to bottom on this left-hand column. This next tab displays all of the suggested matches that you need to review. You can configure some match rules to create confirmed matches, meaning they meet a certain level of criteria that does not require additional user review. And you can configure other match rules to create these suggested matches that only meets a lower level of criteria and thus requires further examination here in this tab. You can have matches that do not require any adjustments, meaning that the amounts on either side are exactly the same. However, as we can see here on the screen as well, the customer name as well as the transaction number are the same on both sides. So that's why the system is suggesting that this is a match. However, there is a large difference from the date of the GL transaction to the bank transaction, which may fall outside of the tolerance level that we had defined in our match rules. So now we have the opportunity to research the validity of this match and can choose to either confirm or discard this suggested match. We're going to go ahead and confirm this match and take a look at the suggested matches with adjustments. Now, one of the most powerful pieces of functionality in this tool is this ability to create suggested matches that require an adjustment. You can see that the amounts are not exactly the same like our no adjustment suggested matches, and that they are off by 7 cents. However, just like the other example, we have some transaction details like this entity and customer name, also the transaction number, that also indicate that this should be a match. You can go ahead and again review all of this information and then decide, is this an adjustment that we need to make on the GL side or the bank side? And then we also define what type of adjustment this is, whether it's a rounding adjustment, bank fees, maybe you have an adjustment type that's manual keying error, etc. And you go ahead and confirm and discard all of your different suggested matches. I'm going to go ahead and confirm all of these suggested matches, and we can move on to the next part of our column here to the third tab. This subsequent tab gives you a place to review any remaining unmatched transactions. As you review the detail of all of these GL transaction lines, you note that these dates are awfully close to the end of the month, which tells me that it's likely that these are transactions that have not yet cleared at the bank. In this case, we can select these transactions. We can click on support, and we can say that this is an outstanding check and support this transaction. I'll do the same for the second one. Click on it and match and identify this as an outstanding check. Now that we've gone through all of our different tabs, all of the matches, whether confirmed or suggested, all of the adjustments, and all of the support can be reviewed in these final two tabs. Here on this tab, you can see all of those matches, and you can also see all of the adjustments here on this final tab. Going back to the first tab, you note that there are no longer any unmatched or unsupported transactions, and our balance report shows that we have no unexplained differences. You can also see the results of transaction matching in the reconciliation compliance view to have consistency in the format of all your balance sheet accounts. We have accomplished a lot today as the preparer of these account reconciliations. Let's take a look at how easy it is for a reviewer to use NetSuite account reconciliation. We are now logged in as Carol Morgan, who is one of our designated approvers. Like the preparers, you can also use the work list to manage your own tasks, but you want to see the bigger picture of how we are progressing on our reconciliations for month-end close. You have dashboards set up to give you that higher level view. On the overview dashboard, you can see your reconciliations grouped by the different sections of your balance sheet and see how many have been completed and how many remain incomplete. Other ways you like to see your reconciliations grouped by is by organizational unit or even risk rating. The compliance dashboard helps you see how each individual on your team is faring with their assigned reconciliations. You can see the progress of both the preparers, as we see here, and our reviewers. If these dashboards aren't exactly to your liking, you can always create custom dashboards such as this compliance review dashboard, giving you exactly the view that you want. As you refresh this pivot table below, you see that there's an accounts receivable reconciliation with a status of with reviewer. It's the trade receivables example that we submitted earlier. You can review the work that has been done, whether that's the comments or the adjustments that have been made. And once you're satisfied with your review and satisfied with the work that has been done, you can approve by simply clicking on the Approve button above. At any point in the account reconciliation process, you can create reports. These reports have available file formats such as CSV, HTML, and PDF, which alongside your work lists and dashboards can help you manage your progress. Once all reconciliations have been submitted and approved, you would navigate to the period and you would run a check for missing reconciliations to make sure that you didn't miss any GL accounts. You could set the status to closed. And then lastly, you can generate report binders, which is an HTML file that contains all of the reconciliation data, including alerts, attachments, and transaction detail, which you can give to your auditors to conduct their own independent review. As you were able to see, NetSuite account reconciliation is a powerful addition to the NetSuite platform. Unlike other similar solutions, this was built for NetSuite customers like yourself and automatically syncs your NetSuite ERP data. You don't have to worry about third-party integrations that may not work. Other solutions may limit you with the number of data sources you can link or the amount of data you can store, but not this NetSuite solution. Competitors may also have their own transaction matching solution, but they can't match, pun intended, the speed at which Oracle can match thousands or even millions of your transactions. If you have any questions, please let us know and we'd be happy to provide you with answers. Thank you for your time and attention today.